Hola chicos! Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I am documenting my journey learning Spanish with Dreaming Spanish. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually on a solo retreat. I'm taking time off of Spanish. I just thought we could have a casual conversation about motivation and maybe the lack thereof. I don't think that this is talked about enough, and the people that have ultimately lost motivation aren't exactly announcing their departure, and maybe they could have been more than fluent by now. We're not going to be motivated every single day of this journey, and so I do hope you find this video helpful. Thank you for being here. There can be a ton of reasons why we start feeling unmotivated in our Spanish learning journey. And today I hope to just help you identify the root of your unmotivation, use some solutions, and also just share some random tips and tricks of things that I do on low motivation days or weeks. I think the first thing that we need to do is face the fact that we're feeling unmotivated and not turn a blind eye to it, thinking if I just keep going, it's going to get better, because it won't. If you don't address it, there's this bitter root that starts to take place inside of you, and we don't want that, especially towards something that was once exciting to us and fun. It's kind of like when you have a friend and they do something that really bothered you, but maybe you're passive aggressive and you're just like, no, I'm not going to address it. But then every time you see them, it's worse and worse. Some of you watching this bitter root has already formed in you. End of another long day, your daily goal is there, incomplete again. It's like this evil thing that just is constantly reminding you of your failures. It is for this exact reason that my first point is to take a scheduled break. Yes, scheduled break. To have an end date for your break. Want to set ourselves up for success and make sure we're going to return. But also, it's likely that you've been running on E for way too long and you need a break. I'm actually taking maybe my first break yet. My first official day off is crazy, and I'm 6 months in. Feels a little weird, and there's definitely times when I'm like, oh, my turn on your Spanish. No, today there's actually no Spanish, and it feels nice. There are moments when I want to turn something on, not because, I need to do my Spanish, but it's now become the kind of things that I actually enjoy, the kind of content that I enjoy. So that's another benefit of taking a break. Allow yourself time to start missing it and bring that desire back for Spanish. During your scheduled break, it's a great time to identify what's not working in your Spanish learning journey. Now, I have 3 different routes, unrelated, and some are even opposite of each other. Let's start with number 1. Is your daily input goal not a good fit for you at this time in your life? You definitely don't need to be a speedrunner for this to still be the root cause of your unmotivation. You could be trying to hit 1 hour a day, but because of the season of life that you're in, this is burning you out. For the speedrunners, I think this is something we need to talk about. If we are feeling burnt out, we need to be humble enough to admit that we are trying to hit a daily goal that is just not good for us. If you're feeling burnt out and this is the root cause, and deep down you know that this is the root cause, adjust your daily input and keep going for the long haul. Are you still going to be doing Spanish if you remain at the daily goal that you're at now? Even if once you get to a certain point, you'll lower your hours, but will you get to that point, be so burnt out that you want nothing to do with Spanish? Be real. Be real with yourself. This next point applies to absolutely everybody learning with Dreaming Spanish. Method is totally not linear at all. It's such a mental game. I had been dominating the intermediate sphere for so long now that at 600 hours, when I moved up to the advanced videos, I kind of was hit in the face. There are seasons of this journey, am I literally learning anything? Did I pick up a single new word today, or did I, what? Like, what? I really don't have the right words to explain this feeling, but I know that if you've done any time with Dreaming Spanish, you'll know what I mean. That valley of comprehension. You can understand the entire picture of what they're saying. You start to feel like, do I even know the words that they're using? Or the mental battle that this brings. I think we need to talk about it a little more often. I had about a full week getting my 5 hours of input every day, kind of being like, why does this suddenly feel different? I know that deep down, fears are kind of there. They're kind of festering. I have to believe that this battlefield is where we have lost a lot of yesers that are no longer with us. Do not be one of them. We need to be strong in our mind to go through these seasons. To remember, if you're brand new, you just need to keep going, because there is times where you do start dominating the level that you're on. Someone had referred to it as like you're hearing underwater. You feel like you're hearing underwater all this time, and then suddenly, boom, everything's clear. You're dominating that level. You know the words. It really is a trust process, and it's not for the weak. It's really not. If you're feeling this, you need to really take the decision out of your hands right now, because you're in a little bit of a sensitive place. I'm gonna give this method X amount more hours or X amount more days, and then I'm going to make my decision. Therefore, you kind of take your vote out of it. You take the emotions and the daily, like, oh my gosh, is this doing anything? Am I wasting my time? You take all of that out, and you give the process a chance. You give the method a chance to work. This is going to help you a lot. This date, I'll reconsider. But right now, decision power, you need to take it away. You need to take it away, because your mind is playing so many games on you and trying to make you give up. Next one is, are you a beginner that actually needs to speed up, even momentarily? I think another battlefield that we are losing a lot of previous DSers is these beginner stages. The beginner slump has taken way too many people out for good. I'm going to share a personal story. Long story, a little less long. Some of you might be looking at me and thinking,
oh my gosh, I don't know how she does 5 hours. That's so amazing, blah, blah, blah.
But there's like a side reason for why I'm so intense with this. I am a notorious hobby hopper. I know this about myself. And when one random night, I don't know if you guys know this, it was one random night, I had given up already on learning Spanish like years ago. One random night, I came across someone wanting to do Spanish over Zoom on Facebook, and boom, there sparks another hobby. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I want to learn Spanish. Minutes later, I find DS recommended on Reddit, and so this is where it all began, okay? Kind of randomly. I did not have any doubts. I knew that this method of comprehensible input has been working in the wild. I've met so many people in other countries, and when they speak really good English, they would tell me they learned by watching Netflix and playing video games and things. So I actually had no doubts about this method. If I could just stay with the method for as long as it says I need to stay with it to get to a level of fluency or to know Spanish, that I would be where they said I would be. And for many, that might seem like, oh, great, yeah, let's do it. But for a hobby hopper, really into something, and then out of nowhere, I'm not into it at all and couldn't get my desire back for it if I tried. That I needed to get as far as I possibly could while the hobby was still hot, if that makes sense. Then if the hobby was like leaving, at least I was far enough to be able to just kind of incorporate Spanish into my life, or the rewards that are coming are kind of refueling the hobby. This has totally worked for me. As soon as I got to 300 hours, between 300 and 400 hours, and now I'm doing crosstalk, and I'm actually experiencing the language in like real life, basically. And now these rewards are feeding this hobby, feeding this passion, and it's continuing. But if I was 3-4 months in and still at the beginner videos, no. And I had enough foresight to say, Angela, you are going to do everything in your power. Now that I found this life-changing method, I was like, you are not going to die only knowing one language, period. Truly admire the people that I see on the Reddit who are 2, 3, 4 years in, maybe just having a lower daily input goal, that takes serious dedication and discipline. And so I'm not even saying that one way is better than the other. I'm sharing my personal experience just to help you identify if you're in this boat. If you are starting to feel that the beginner slump is taking you out, like out of the game, take these tips. Start moving up, and once you can get to podcasts and things like that, everything starts to get better. Thought I'd switch up my seating arrangement. Now, while I'm hoping that you don't identify with this next category, it needs to be said, Dreaming Spanish and the comprehensible input method does give a way for literally anybody to learn a language if they want to learn. What Dreaming Spanish cannot do for you is give you the desire to learn the language. And that's 100% needed to be successful with this method. And so I think it's okay if you just want to admit, okay, I got into this, but it's really not for me. I don't really have that passion and that desire. Take this as your permission from me. It's okay to stop. It's okay. Okay, now for some closing remarks. I know I've been talking for way too long because I had to go and have a snack break. Once a month or so, I'll find myself watching Spanish hacks YouTube interviews with other people, usually Americans or people from other countries that have learned Spanish. It does for me, I think subconsciously, enforces this thing of like, you know what, Angela? People learn Spanish. You're not trying to do something that no one in the world has ever done. You can do it, you are doing it, and they often talk about their experience, like they moved to another Spanish-speaking country, and it's just like, wow. I think sometimes we can get a little bit wrapped up in our daily grind of just doing your input, and we can lose focus of the bigger picture, you know? So, and I will say, a lot of the interviews, they have pretty good accents, so I know that bothers some of us when the accent is kind of gringo, but it's been pretty good. Take some time and picture yourself at your dream destination in your Spanish journey. Being fluent in Spanish, what are you doing with this fluency? Are you in Spain having wine and speaking to the locals and laughing the night away? Are you in Mexico ordering street tacos? Well, no sé. You guys know there's 100 bajillion things that could come out of being fluent in Spanish. We all have our different reasons, our different desires. Maybe you are someone who you want to speak to, or I was going to say it in Spanish, your mother-in-law or your father-in-law for the first time because they don't speak English. Maybe you want to have a relationship with someone from another Spanish-speaking country. The possibilities are endless, but I really need you to take some time and actually get this in your mind, like envision it. Not, oh, will this happen? Just envision that you're already there. What does that look like? What are you doing? Who are you friends with? What does your life look like? What is your dream? If everything were to go well, perfectly in your Spanish learning journey and you made it to fluency, what does your life look like? We need to do this. We need to have this image in our mind, have this vision of where we're going. It'll also help get you excited again. And I think that's important. That's all. That's all I have to say. I'm going to continue to enjoy my Spanish-free day. Although you guys might have seen, I have been reading. I started reading. And so I was reading my Spanish books on my Kindle. Maybe my next video will be updating you guys on reading. I actually really like it. Okay, bye!